Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to another fine episode of Hallyujuku. I'm Petey Rant, your man with no plan. Here with me, as always, is my friend Brandon Cooper, aka Kaz. I meant Brandon Cooper or Brand Con Cooper. I don't know. What's your name again?
King Kaz.
Mm-hmm. King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
I'm doing really, really good. I finally got a chance to catch up on some shows that I've been missing out on and catch up on some other stuff. So it's been a pretty good week, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. It's another fine week for us. And, of course, as we do every week, we are going to check in with each other on what we've been listening to this week. Kaz, what have you been listening to this week?
This week, I've gone back to promoting Year of the Rapper so that I can do more rap music and all that good stuff. So I figured I'd start us with something that we both generally enjoy, which is a cipher. For those that don't know, which I think we've explained this 3 times at this point, cipher is a bunch of rappers, one beat, go one after another, and I thought this one was pretty good. It figures a lot of unknown rappers to me. There are a few I know, like Zizo and Cheetah. Some of the other guys in here I don't know that well, but I really, really, really enjoyed the cipher. I really enjoyed the beat, and I really enjoyed the pace of the flow that everybody had going, and it was really, really good.
Yeah, it was a really cool flow. I had watched this earlier when you had shared it to me, and it was interesting. Kind of having the people with instruments and stuff in the background, but it was fun. And I know that the one thing that stood out for me was the person complaining that it wasn't alive, quote unquote, like if that matters.
Right.
Yeah, but overall it was pretty fun, and I always like seeing that they include the little bit of the girl rapping, you know. And I always enjoy that part in any of these things when it can happen.
Yeah, I do as well. Like I'm really loving the more I learn about the Korean hip hop scene. Like it really, really, really it makes me feel happy that I came to this realization on my own that I thought it needed to be promoted more, but then the more and more I learn about it, the more I realize that it doesn't need my help, you know? Like it's like like Koreans are starting to embrace hip hop more and more, and it's just starting to show. And there's also that real divergence that we've talked about between pop rap and hip hop in Korea, yeah. And I think it just is going to show itself more that people are going to start gravitating towards people who are putting real skill into it. Not to say that the kind of poppy rap stuff or idol rap, as a lot of the hip hop artists call it, isn't good and doesn't show skill. It just is another form of it. But, you know, we're talking about something generally different. So moving on to my next song by Verbal Joint. It's called Rare Breed featuring YDG, who anybody who's a fan of Korean rap knows YDG. He's been around the game for a while, and Verbal Joint is a really, really good artist. Whose songs are generally hit and miss with me. There aren't a lot of Verbal Joint songs that I like, but this is one that I really have enjoyed. And I just love the style of the video as well.
Yeah, it's Verbal Joint. Yeah, I've heard him in stuff that I've dug, and he's guested on stuff. I believe he's guested on something I listened to recently. And I'm not actually as familiar with YDG or Yandong-guk, if you can read the Korean there. But yeah, this song is pretty cool. The video is interesting as well. The dude just kind of strolling around with his lady servants, which is odd and maybe a little disconcerting. But hey, you know what? It's hip hop, yo. I don't know.
I'm gonna go to my next one because we have a lot of songs in the what we've been listening to this week. So MC Sniper, who's someone else that is come across my radar recently. I know he's been around for a bit, but I've recently come across him. So like we always say with the what you've been listening to, sometimes there will be artists in here that have been around for a while, but they may not have necessarily been on me and Petey's radar. So when we say they're new, we're just generally saying they're new to us.
Yeah.
So, that's one of those things. And if you want to write in, or tweet us and say, hey, no, he's been around for a while. Here's some of his older stuff. Listen to some of this stuff. Definitely. I would love that, because what this stuff right here from MC Sniper was so good. And I just love the style of his flow and the progression he follows with the beat, because it starts out kind of really low and really fast, and then it just like has kind of a cool drop, and then he just kind of progresses faster with it, and it just gets really good. And there's some weirdness of in the video of like, I think he's killing someone.
I think so. I think he's killing somebody, and I think it's the subject for which he's rapping about. If you look at the lyrics right down there, there's actually, and somebody said it's an old member of his label that this is a diss rap on. I enjoy this musically. I don't enjoy everything about this song in this video. Namely, I don't enjoy the I'm gonna call myself Tupac, and the calling his subject repeatedly calling him gay. Gay bastard. Those two parts I could have done without. Like, it just kind of took me a little bit out of it. But the whole, how it went musically and how it went flow wise, and the aggression was really there. Because it's very easy for, when you're talking about hip hop in Korea, it's very easy it's a very fine line between successfully aggressive and aggression and hard style hip hop done well and try hard. There's a very fine line, and it depends on how you carry yourself, and it depends on how much you try, how much you pretend, and how honest you are, and how honest you are to who your personality is. And I think they do it well. It fits their personality really well. Those couple parts I could do without, but I think this fits their personality well. But yeah, moving on to...
His name is MC Sniper.
MC Sniper.
So, this is something I wanted to kind of showcase, because idol rap is kind of this silly thing and stuff like that. And I wanted to give respect to an idol rapper, and not the same idol rappers that I give respect to over and over again. So this guy is still considered an up-and-coming rapper and an up-and-coming idol. He's a YG trainee from Team B, who most people know, Team A and Team B, who were in a contestant show called Winner to see who was going to be YG's next group. His name is Bobby. He was unfortunately part of Team B, which didn't get picked to be YG's next project. But Team B got kept on, and now they're in a new show where they have to fight for their survival in their own group, Icon. But in between all that, the two rappers of Team B, or Icon, Bobby and B.I., took part in a show that was earlier this year and wrapped up not too long ago, called Show Me the Money 3, which is a show of taking young hip-hop artists and producing them in an American Idol style show. But there's a lot of battling, there's a lot of hip-hop style things that happen, and then you get to the last part of the show where they have to come up with and compose songs and perform them. And I thought this was a song that Bobby did really well. Like, he kind of stole the show, which is kind of also a controversy that a lot of people say B.I. and Bobby kept getting by on the show, even though they didn't really showcase a lot of skill. But I think of the two of them, there are some times that I thought B.I. did get saved along the show, but Bobby really has skill as a rapper. And I think this opportunity to showcase it was really good for him.
He's up on that balcony like he's New Jack about to jump on somebody.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just wanted to show that Korean hip hop has what you're looking for. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many different styles, and I'm glad they're branching out. It's still growing. But it's been growing since since Sateji and the boys came up and said, "Hey, let's do this new thing." Yeah. But it's been growing ever since, and it's really cool to see it kind of here. Hashtag Year of the Rapper is going strong.
Yes.
And I couldn't be more happy about that. But now for something completely different. As you know, I'm the one that's prone to bring up the girl groups, bringing the girl groups just because I think they're fun. And there was I'm gonna go through a couple of these things, and there was a debut from the sister group, you would say, of Dalshabet, from the same label, Half of Face Entertainment. Minx came up with their song, "Why Did You Come to My House? Why Did You Come to My Home?" Urishipe Whitney. And I just thought it was an interesting debut, and it was a fun song, and they seemed pretty fun, and I think it's there are parts of it that actually do a good job of marking the group in a little unique ways, and the singing was really well done, and I don't know, it was a fun song. What did you think of the Minx in their debut?
I want to hear more from them. This song is really okay. Mm-hmm. It's not like going into my playlist right away. But I did enjoy it. Like I did it and enjoy their vocals, and it was kind of a standard poppy, we're having fun kind of like video and song. Yeah, I think
the hook of the song kind of it was really fun, but yeah, overall it's not too exceptional, but it was a good debut. It was it's tough out there for girl groups. There's like 1,500 girl groups out there, all touring the country that we don't even know like the third or like a fraction of them. So it's tough to stand out, but it was a fun song. It was a fun song, and I kind of dug it. But moving on to something else that's really cool and interesting. I was watching like one of the music shows, and I saw a performance by this solo singer called Wax. She doesn't appear in this music video, but the solo singer called Wax, she's been around the industry for a while, from what I can tell. For her newest single and for her newest video, she recruited the likes of a group that I've discussed before on the show, BtoB. The band the kind of the girl group band BtoB. Went ahead and they accompany her on music shows, and they kind of appear as the main characters of the music video for Wax's song "Fly High." And it's a cool song, and it's a cool, interesting video, and it's always cool kind of seeing that BtoB is still around and doing things around the industry, even though they haven't released anything beyond their first single. It's a neat song. What did you think of the song of this one?
I actually liked the song. I thought the video was kind of weird because I didn't really follow along too well, but like I think I understood the concept of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was a nice song. I thought it was pretty good, and I enjoyed it overall. Once again, not a song I instantly gravitate towards but something that could probably grow on me if I heard it more and listen to it. Yeah,
the packaging of the girls, very kind of evocative of the industry and kind of interesting, but it's a cool song, and also made me look at some of the other stuff they've done with other people. A video that I had seen before, but I had forgotten about, and a video and song that I'd forgotten about it with their collaboration with Humming Urban Stereo, a really cool indie band, for Mem Mem. And this is a pretty fun video, kind of a little more natural video, and a really, really cool, like, electronic song, and really fun song, and a really cool, like, sound to it. I don't know, what do you think, Kaz? This is a really cool, like, indie electronic song that I really dug.
I kind of enjoyed the music of it. The vocals at times were a little whiny, but I understood it was trying to kind of go along with the electronic beat and the kind of funk of it and pitch, so it matches really well, but it's just like kind of, like, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just, I'm still kind of out on this one. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going to listen to it probably a few more times and then have a, like, actual judgment on it. I don't want to go off, like, just 2 listens, really, for this song.
Yeah, it was a really cool song. I think I remember it being, like, mentioned on one of Eater Kimchi's indie playlists and really digging it back then, but then I completely forgot about it. But then I was, it was shared, I think, with a discussion on the previous video, and I thought, well, this is pretty rad. But moving on to something else that was a cool video that was released by a group that we've both, I think we both have talked about and liked. I think it's specifically in their connection with My Lovely Samsung, which is Classic Quiet Project, which we have definitely brought up as part of the kind of the masterminds behind the score and the music on that show. Of course, by the group headed by DJ Classy, with their newest release, "Still I'm by Your Side." Really cool. I thought it was a really cool, really nice atmospheric song, as is as is some of their work. And the video was really cool and interesting, and the split screen and the fact that it makes you make assumptions about these 2 characters and their relationship, and then kind of plays around with that and kind of turns that onto something else. And that was a fun thing, but the song is really cool. And I don't know, what do you think, Kaz? What was your impression of the song?
I liked it. I don't know. I maybe like just biased because they made one of my favorite songs ever, with the song to My Lovely Samsung. But I think they're a really good group. I think they're a really good band, and they make just exceptional music. And there's a reason they've been around. There's a reason they were chosen to make the song that they made for My Lovely Samsung, and there's a reason that they just kind of continue to have success. And it just is so good.
Yeah, this is like, if we're talking about idols and all that stuff and the teeny bopper music, but you want to talk about groups that everyday Koreans actually listen to and respect and are actually popular over there in Korea. This is one of those groups that it may not have, as you can see, it only has 29,000 YouTube views, but I guarantee you this is a tune that's going to be in the minds, and it's going to be sung by Koreans left and right. It's going to be at coffee shops left and right. This is kind of one of those respected groups, and for a reason. This is a really cool song, really cool atmosphere to the song, and I'm glad for it existing. It's a really cool track. And I guess since I almost have to, I know I've already talked about like 4 songs, but I almost have to, as the resident Someone, I almost have to talk about the Tetsuso release. Tetsuso, of course, is the subunit of Girls' Generation, made up of Taeyeon, Tiffany, and Sohyun, hence Tetsuso, or TTS. They released their newest single, Holler, recently, this past week, and their video as well. If I would say one quick thing is,
Yeah,
It's like,
very meh. It's a very meh song. It's a very meh video. Like, it's kind of cartoony and silly, but then it's supposed to be kind of sexy and chic,
yeah.
like in the beginning, so it kind of throws you off. It's really fucking bright and colorful. And one, I will give them the point that it does not sound like a Girls' Generation song.
Yeah.
But I mean that in a bad way,
Yeah.
because it's just like
it's not. It doesn't have the the expanse that you usually find with a Girls' Generation song. It doesn't have that expanse, but it's different. I don't know. I think the person that said it best was a reviewer on Asian Junkie, where he said that the song is Girls' Generation on autopilot, or on cruise control, to be actually specifically. This is them on cruise control. There's nothing really adventurous. There's nothing really exciting. There's nothing really new necessarily. It's just kind of, all right, let's just do a thing. Let's just record a thing, do a thing. It's a song. I mean, it literally was a repurposed song that they purchased from somebody else. It's like, it's okay. I think that's all that can be said about it. That's not necessarily exciting. And it's definitely not exactly the most exciting release this year from Girls' Generation. But I felt like I had to comment on it. I figure as the someone of the podcast, I had to bring it up. But that's it for what we've been listening to this week. I'm going to take a peek at that email I just got. But in the meantime, we're going to get over to our headlines. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in our headlines section. We talk about what's been going on this week in the world of East Asian pop culture. Just some of the things that's going on. Let's get right to it. First of all, first article. Kodakumi utilizes virtual reality technology in new music video. This is interesting to say the least. Kodakumi's upcoming music video, Dance in the Rain, has been filmed using virtual reality technology available only on the Oculus Rift. The innovative new music video will make its debut at Tense London, a trade show from September 18th to 21st. So apparently it's already debuted. So people have seen this. And then they go on to describe what an Oculus Rift is. I imagine most people watching this probably know who Kodakumi is and know what an Oculus Rift is, but hey, it's one of them cool headsets, and it's actually looks like it's actually decent, and it works really well. So there's that. We don't know exactly how this is gonna work. Is it going to be just a panoramic music, a panoramic screen that you can turn your head on, or will you be able to actually get like a 3D experience? I don't know. We can speculate. Well, what was your impression? Or what do you speculate that it might actually be? It might actually look like?
I think it's either going to be like panoramic, like you said, or it's going to be this first person. What is the group? Slap your bitch up. Slap my bitch up. I can't think of the group. Prodigy style video where you just like have this person's perspective as things happen. Or the only other thing I think is going to be a video that you have to have an Oculus Rift to take part in. You have to like put on the headset and you'll be able to move through the video and shit. So it just, depends on the implementation of it, because I'm pretty sure if they're using that for this, it's going to be some implementation of using the Oculus Rift. So we'll see what it is. We'll see what it becomes. It's just kind of silly at the moment, but who knows?
But who knows? I'm wondering if it's going to be CGI. And so it does say 360 music video experience, so imagine it might just be that the video is happening around you, but you can't get to move around in the video. I mean, I guess that's the part that makes sense now thinking about it, but It's interesting what Kodakumi will do for money. But it looks like it might be fun to check out. Almost makes you kind of wish you were at this trade show. Apparently it's also, if you want to go ahead and check it out, it's also going to be available at the Tokyo Designers Week from October 25th to November 3rd.
This is going to be something that you put the Oculus Rift on and you go through a virtual reality music video. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to see this unless we go to one of these places that they're showing this at, in which case then you have to then wait in line, put on an Oculus Rift, and go through that whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And then that's that. So if you're in Tokyo between October 25th and to November 3rd at that Tokyo Designers Week, enjoy! But moving on to something else. U.S. remake of Man from the Stars, or You Who Came from the Stars, or My Love from Another Star, in the works. It's just been revealed by The Hollywood Reporter that the hit drama series, My Love from Another Star, or however you want to call it, has an American version in the works by broadcast station ABC. That they had to describe that as broadcast station ABC. As you probably already know, blah, 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 Kim Soo-yeon, Jung Ji-hyun, the Queen. ABC's take is described as an epic supernatural love story. They forgot the N. Epic supernatural love story about a world famous pop star, Lark, and her antisocial neighbor James, who happens to be from another planet. Which is again from the plot of the original show. If you've seen the show, you know the plot. If you haven't, go see it because it's actually a fantastic show and really fun. But yeah, it's interesting. It's normal to be kind of reticent about this happening because, all right, this isn't the only show that's going to be remade. Apparently, there's going to be a CBS remake of Good Doctor. NBC is working on a remake of Grandpa's Over Flowers, which is interesting. The first variety show remake would be interesting. I don't know. What's your impression? Do you think ABC can make a good show out of this subject matter, and do you think it will?
So, all right, here's my take, right? I'm instantly going to say no, only because of shows that we have seen come from the Asian market to the American market in remakes before. This has been done before, and usually it's really lackluster. Because the writing is generally terrible. It just, if you're a fan of the original, it's not going to have the same take and appeal because there's a lot of cultural references in the way that these shows are written and designed that make it really hard for them to translate. So it really depends on what the story was beforehand. Something like Good Doctor is going to be handled totally different for an American concept audience than it would have been for a Korean audience. The things that make Good Doctor really good are the Korean culture aspects of that show. The way Koreans treat each other, the way Koreans talk to each other, the way Koreans have a perception of everyday life. Whereas those things don't always exist in American culture. My Love from Another Star, you can translate that. That show's been done in America before. You have Alf, you have Mork and Mindy. You have other shows that I think the CW and those kind of channels generally do well with those kind of shows. I don't know how ABC is going to handle this. There's going to be a laugh track and all kind of other shit, and it's going to be terrible.
Or maybe not. Well, I mean, it is apparently it's going to be by the writers and producers of Vampire Diaries.
Never seen it.
Which, from what I hear, is very much, from what I think seen of it, it has kind of this, the tone of it has this mix of has that mix of kind of the dramatic and the melodramatic with kind of those moments that are pretty funny. Now, those moments that are funny can be subjective, and I haven't really watched a lot of Vampire Diaries to see if it's actually good. But it is very easy, like you said, to be very wary of what they do with the shows. I think the key thing is respecting that the source material is good source material and therefore deserves a good adaptation deserves your utmost attention and appreciation, and B, to focus on the the aspects that truly make that source material good. Like, you can even focus less on the literal translation of the plot than, say, mostly focus on, okay, what makes this show good? What are the themes, elements? What are the character points that make this good? What is the central parts that make it good? You know, like You Came From the Stars is the kind of exciting drama aspects and the humor aspects. It'll be tough with that show because, well, I can't think of an American actress that can be Jun Ji Hyun, like Gianna Jun, like that character. That was basically, she was bringing back her character from My Sassy Girl, more or less, and putting in a TV show. I can't that's the main thing that Asian Junkie brings up, is that who do we have that is Jun Ji Hyun in America that would be willing to do TV on ABC? We really don't. So, like, we really don't have that. So it's going to be tough to really translate that specific character and her humor and the specific characters. But if you can get the themes and elements well done, like the biggest, and this is not East Asian, but well, I guess it has a connection. The biggest crime that the Last Airbender movie committed was how much it killed all the humor and fun and adventure of the show.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie remake. The movie was very faithful, with the exception of, with the, I forgot the island characters, the female warriors that it had, that represented. I forget that. There's that missing. But as far as the literal translation of the plot of season 1, it was pretty good, if that's what you wanted. But as far as having the themes and elements that made you love Avatar: The Last Airbender, which was the humor, the characters, the adventure, the sense of space, the sense of kind of, we're going, like it was like a road trip movie, it was this fun adventure that they were going on, and the drama, it fucked all that up. Whereas if it had been like loosely based on the plots of season 1, they paraphrased some things and reattributed and repurposed some things, and maybe even changed the setting, but still kept all those themes and elements where it was funny and had a sense of adventure, and had the characters represented well, at least the themes of the characters, it would have been a way better movie than it was, which is where I think is the important thing when you're adapting any kind of work. Is, okay, pick out what are the things that make this good. Good Doctor, it's about understanding somebody with a mental illness, understanding and connecting with that person. Maybe even doing a better job of representing autism in this version than they did in the original version. Expound on that, and then understanding somebody who has this one part of them that is broken, but can also contribute greatly in another aspect, and maybe making the villains less cartoony. Like My Love for Minute Stars, the humor, the drama, the fun aspects of, like, that crazy villain, all those fun things. I think that's going to be the important thing. I don't know, what do you think, Kaz, on those respects?
I mean, it's nice to say that those things could happen, but those things don't happen outside of cable TV anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why everybody's worried.
All the good shows now are either online or on cable. Mm-hmm. I guess there's Arrow, there's Adventures from Storybrooke, or whatever the fuck. What is it?
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time, which I think those shows are terrible.
not to. We apologize to Greetings from Storybrooke, our friend Bill Meeks' podcast,
Right. But I just I don't know. I understand people like the Vampire Diaries and those shows, but what I've ever seen of them, they're not generally that good. The plots are really easy to determine. Not to say that Korean shows don't have those. Like, a lot of Korean shows have really easy plots.
Yeah.
But it's the translation in what I saw that I enjoy because of the cultural aspects in these things. Like you said, the villains are sometimes cartoony, but then there's also this aspects of things that happen because, you have these people in these series that culture dictates how they react to these things, right?
Yeah.
So then you come about it and you're like, oh, this is a cultural thing. So I guess you have more styles of people to pull from in American culture, but it's gonna be silly. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I don't know if we're gonna be happy with all of these remakes. There may be one that stands out, but I'm not sure these are the ones you go for. I think you could pull off something like Coffee Prince really well.
Yeah.
Because that's really easily translatable. But the other thing is, these are the styles of things like Coffee Prince, My Lovely Samsoon, all those kind of shows are something that would be a movie here, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if Coffee Prince was idealized and created here, it would have been a romantic comedy movie.
Yeah. All I'm wondering is, realistically, it's probably not going to really be all that good. But it would be amazing. It is on ABC, which is the home of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And maybe, just maybe, I could realize my dream of having Do Min-jun, even though it's going to be an American guy. It'd be awesome if he was Korean. Do Min-jun be part of the Avengers, like I thought he would be. Have Nick Fury show up and like, hey, I got a job for you. And then he's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it'd be awesome. But yeah, realistically, it's probably not going to do well. But hey, it's still going to be interesting to see them nonetheless, no matter good or bad. Because it always could be so bad it's good at the end of the day. Because sometimes shitty shows can be fun. But moving on to something that I think was the aspect of Sunday that turned out to be one of the most ridiculously fun things to follow.
I think the best way to tackle this is go through the timeline, right? Go through the timeline of what happened, word it out, and then we'll give our thoughts.
All right, so let's go through the timeline. So Sunday, I started keeping track of, doing my daily kind of keeping track of articles and stuff like that. Sunday, apparently, the leader of a group that I think we both, I'm going to assume we both tangentially mostly know, probably purely through the knowledge of Kwang Hee's existence. Zaya, otherwise known as Children of Empire, starts going off on Twitter. He starts, Zaya's leader Lee, who went on a rant on Twitter, that started off with just kind of going off on how his group member got his ass beat in a MMA fight in his MMA debut, which I watched, and yeah, he got beat because apparently they didn't have the decency to put a jobber in front of him like they did for Song Ga-yeon. At least when they debuted her, they put somebody who was kind of a 30-something-year-old lady who was making her debut. They didn't actually fix the match, but they more or less did. put a little meat on her bones, but whatever. Put a little cookie out there for her to devour. But they didn't do that, and, he got hit, and he got injured, and he actually had a broken nose and whatnot. So he starts going off, started off with a series of tweets like, everyone, I love you, right? It's like, my profile photo is of the Japanese athlete Tanaka who made our Seiya's Taehun hurt. I want to hate him a lot, but I felt again that professionals and amateurs are different. Was it 2 years ago I went on to KBS Dream Team and broke my leg? If I didn't have this metal pin in my leg, even if I get hit 10 times, break my nose, and fracture my face, I want to at least hit him just once. But I heard that it is his retiring match. I calm my heart once again today with a sigh. Anyway, that fighter will not forget his retiring match. He won against Korea's idol group Seiya and retired coolly. Taking surgery, went well, blah, blah, blah. Hope you know that loss became a sea of tears for someone and that a lot of people were sacrificed. Since you're a professional man, blah, blah, blah. And he just kind of goes on and on and on about this. This is broadcast, right? Would you have still done it if Taehun was Isaiah's fan or the members were the children you gave birth to yourselves? I'm like, today as always, I spend all my night just sighing. Sigh. And it's like, it's like, okay, I guess you're just kind of upset. I see, I understand that. But then he starts going off on their CEO, Shinju Ha. He then said, from now on, I will communicate and let all the public know what I've been keeping in my heart, what I saw with my eyes, and the life I felt through my tears. Please follow me, everyone. I especially ask the reporters to follow me. I will hint and promise that my SNS will be a place for me to cry at all the unfairness. From now on, I will just live as a human and a man. I will not pass by if I see injustice. I shouldn't have kept it all in. All that came back to me were useless curses and the depression that trapped me. There's nothing long to be said. I believe that a true leader, a true owner, a true king, and a sincere person should know how to listen to the cries of his people. I can't be tricky like a fox, but I will live justly like a lion. No, that's just my style, and I won't hide it. I will show you what a true leader is, what sacrifice is, and I'll show you how tears turn to fury. I'm not joking. From now on, fun things will happen. If my Twitter account gets the leader muted, you can take that to mean that I'm being pressured by that kind of influence, but I'll break it all. Know that sincerity and truth can connect and move hearts. And he just kind of keeps going. I cried and asked you, CEO Shinju Hak. I asked you not to cross the line. You crossed the line that you shouldn't have, and now you must deal with it. My lid is open. And just kind of goes off for confirming a lot of the things that honestly we know about the industry and confirming a lot of things we know about their long hours, low pay, but like very dramatically. It's like, and I forgot something. If you threaten or try to buy out the rest of the AZA members, I will do the same back to you. I'm prepared to break that as we all stop, President. I'm not going to bear it any longer. Those kids, they're my children. I am an only child, and when I was lonely, they became like brothers to me. Don't touch them. They're mine. Don't take anything away from me anymore. I'll become a killer to protect my members and our fans. God, please help me and listen to my prayers. From now on, I will fight to protect my people, Lord. Please protect me from having bad thoughts and acting badly for a bit. As much as I believe in you, believe in me, I will work to clear the blame of the singers who are being unfairly blamed. Amen. So he turns to the Lord. He's like, Lord, bless me. He becomes a preacher man. This is... And kind of in the article they bring up things. This brought up all the arguments of Star Empire. This is the same agency that manages 9 muses who can't keep 9 members together for very long to save their life. Because as soon as their contract runs out, they go, well, I'm done. I'm out.
Right.
But that's not all. Or this is kind of how it all started. This all got deleted fairly quickly, but it was very specific. It caught everybody's attention, and there was a big buzz about everything. And then he keeps going on. He continues to voice out, things about the contract, about, issues with money, basically confirming a lot of things about how low they got paid in general, and, how they didn't get paid at all. They were hurt. And, a lot of the things we know about the industry, but he kind of put it out there on blast. And, the length of contracts and whatnot. And, it caused the company to kind of put out a statement saying, well, we're looking into this. We're going to talk this over. It seems to be a financial matter, which, of course, I automatically read as we're going to frame this as a financial matter because that way we can make him out to be greedy. But not to put my thoughts in there. But yeah, it kept going on there. And then the last, I think not the last update, but one of the last updates is that they finally went to that meeting. Apparently he went into the meeting and actually apparently got stuff changed. So he goes on Twitter and says, I finished talking with CEO Shinju Hak. It has now been decided that we will run the Star Empire. We will make it into a Zaya company. Everyone, I promise you that this will be Zaya's day, that I'll either cause this all to collapse or absorb it entirely. Everyone, it's now time for you to please protect me. However the truth is. In the end, Shinju Hak has lost everything and has gone broke. I still resent him and hate him, but still I served under him for 8 years and I gunned him down. That responsibility for that, I will accept the denouncement of the public and from our fans. CEO Shinju Hak and I will take responsibility for all the abuse and criticism. We have also decided to reverse the contract. 70 to us, 30 to the CEO. Zaya will soon be going through contractual changes at Star Empire. He basically revealed that Shinju Hak is broke, and I imagine the company as well. And he leveraged that to kind of get better contracts. He goes on to say, what I want to say is that through this recent incident, all the agency CEOs are aware of the fact that there is a lot of issues with the contracts. I will keep my mouth shut, so I hope you will correct this and treat your artists better. Lastly, I respectfully request this from you. From the heart, if you really understand, truly take the mindset that you're starting afresh, put everything aside, and believe that this is your own children. And I respectfully request that you do this again just once more. And he goes on and kind of putting other agencies out there to kind of to change their ways and whatnot. And he goes, but I'm not a coward. I'll just keep quiet for a bit and observe. To all the agencies and CEOs, I hope you will resolve these issues internally, correct them, and apologize for them. And that's one of the big interesting parts. And it just kind of keeps going and going. And I can't imagine. And it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And I could read all of this.
There's a bunch of different articles, basically, because it just continued and continued to kind of. It was this thing that just is a pebble that rolled down a hill and turned into a fucking rock, man. Yeah. And then at the bottom, it landed, and it's turning into a mountain somehow, some way. This thing is the new clickbait for Korean entertainment that's going on right now, of Lee Hoo going in here to Star Entertainment and basically holding a hostile takeover, in a sense. Like, this is what he's done. He's gone in and he's hostilely taken over the company that he works for, and is saying that he's going to rebrand it in his eyes, in his shape, for himself, for you, the people, so that everyone can be happy. And then now he's on the forefront of calling out other people for things that we have talked about in the past that exist in the Korean music industry, of not paying their artists enough, of treating them more like cattle than people. And don't fucking come at me from the PETA angle of being like, well, cattle shouldn't get treated that way either. Let me make my point. and you bring these people in and you slaughter them and move on to the next, and you continue to just go through this vicious cycle. And like we talked about, we made the comparison Blood Diamonds the other week, and Conflict Diamonds, and all these things that at the end of the day, you enjoy what comes out of it. You enjoy what comes out of the Korean industry machine. But when you look behind the curtain to see what's really going on, and you see the man with the pulleys who's really this big, powerful wizard, and you realize that, all this glitz and glamour that you see isn't spreading out the way it's supposed to be. That rhymed. And this is a lot of thing that a lot of the hip hop artists in Korea talk about, not wanting to go to the big companies to show their shine, because they'll just get shuffled in with the rest of the cattle. They won't get their time to show who they are and to progress as artists and do these things. And they're like, there's now an outlet for us, but there's not an outlet for these singers. Like, these singers have to, if you want to be a singer, you have to fall into this cattle mentality to be an idol and do all these other things. And yeah, there are other avenues. There are other ways. There are companies that do good. There are companies that are not shady and pay their artists what they're worth. But a lot of it has a lot of real shadiness to it. Yeah. In Korea, in Japan, in Taiwan, in a lot of these places that make the East Asian products that we like and love, and it's at the forefront that a lot of it is starting to change, and it's good. And this may seem funny on the outside, this may seem funny on the outset of this, how this happened, but at the same time, to really, really think about that, this dude basically guerrilla warfared his way to being the CEO of his company now, because that's what needed to be done.
Like I said, he walked into the office like Eric Bischoff and said, "We're taking over." Play our porno music, and yes, I did in fact create a NWO-esque logo of Zaya and posted it several places. Just because I'm a nerd and I have too much time on my hands. Actually, I don't have too much time on my hands. I don't know why I'm wasting my life on this stuff. But that's what it is. What it is. Yeah, it's very interesting. I know that there's some aspect to this where he just kept going off on everything. Of course, there's an aspect of this where you wonder where his mindset is at, where his brain is at. Just because when somebody goes off on a Twitter tangent, you wonder if this was a breaking point, and they might not be at their best place mentally. So you always want to check in. But the idea that he's going to keep calling people out and calling out the industry. Anytime that somebody calls out the industry, I say that like if it happens. It doesn't happen. Nobody calls out the industry. It's only happened. Brad of fucking Busker, the American dude who's got to be the drummer for a Korean indie band. He called out the industry and he got wailed on and called a lazy bum. Of course, because he dared to question whether, they should have to work 18 hours a day or some shit and constantly go from event to event, and thought this whole thing was ridiculous. The whole way the industry works and overworking industry works was ridiculous, and he got blasted for it. So nobody really calls out the industry for a lot of the stuff that's that it really needs to be called out on. And it's an issue with the entertainment industry in East Asia in general. It's several issues. And of course, there's even issues in all of the entertainment industry in the entire world, just in their own different pockets. There's issues of privacy and these issues, all types of issues. But these are some unique issues that really get into the core of the culture. And of course, that's why it's hard to really come at it and try to change it, because it's so seeped into not just the entertainment industry, but just culture in general. Because I think we've said it before, working till you drop is a Korean thing. Period. It's not a music industry entertainment thing. It's a Korean thing. It's a Japanese thing. It's it's a thing. In general, you don't leave your office until your boss leaves your office. You work overtime all the time. Of course, you don't get paid overtime, but you work all day, and you get home when it's dark. And you barely see your family. That's what it is to work, and that's the way it has to be, as far as they're concerned. It's something that it's so seeped into the culture that it's hard to change. But when somebody actually goes out and says something that says, okay, this isn't exactly how it's supposed to be, that something needs to change, and it's always good to see that somebody would be willing to put themselves out on a limb to say something needs to change. But yeah, I think that's basically it. If I don't know if I made much sense, but yeah, but that's basically kind of what I thought. I thought it was interesting. I loved the parallels to the NWO a little too much, and I thought it was absolutely fun just watching the ridiculousness of all this going on. And yeah. I did love the Justice for Sarah aspect of this. Of course, Ryu Sarah, former member of Nine Muses, who's now just a YouTuber who puts up covers of songs on her YouTube, and actually has, which is a cool thing for her, because I actually saw a forum post where somebody had commented on her YouTube, and I want to find it right now, but they commented on her YouTube, kind of calling it a troll, YouTube comments and whatnot. And let me see. Alright, so gonna find it. You guys can watch me look for this. But she's got a YouTube channel now, and it's got 11,000 subscribers. She gets tens of thousands of YouTube views on her page, and which, again, it's not millions, it's not big time idol level, but that's respectable. That's a respectable amount of subscribers, and that's a respectable amount of people consistently watching your work. To which she responded, was somebody decided to comment, it's this is a fun comment. How does it feel knowing you have passed your prime? From being on nationwide television to getting 10,000 views on shitty YouTube videos. Shame. To which Rue replies simply, awesome, honestly. That's it. It's awesome. Because if you really think about it, she went from being in this ridiculous, group, overworked, abused, as has been actually evident on the documentary they did a while back for the BBC, physically and emotionally abused, to actually making her own things and kind of doing fun things on her own, deciding what she wants to do, and actually having a good round of people that actually go to specifically to her YouTube page and support her. She's 11,000 and some odd subscribers that watch her videos, and it's, I imagine that's what it is. She's on the verge, I imagine, of creating her own content. She's doing fun covers, and she's having fun. So of course she's gonna say, yeah, it's awesome. Doing YouTube videos, it's kind of awesome. Being your own person. So justice for Sarah, which was an actual cool aspect of it all. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting Sunday, to say the least. Hashtag interesting. I think that's all that can be said about all that. We could ramble on forever, but that's pretty much all that can be said about that. I mean,
like I said, there's a changing tide coming for the Korean music industry, and hopefully for the Japanese music industry and the Taiwanese music industry.
Yeah.
That will just make things slightly better. And I know it seems ridiculous and kitschy to be talking about $1 billion industry, but when you talk about $1 billion industry,
Talking about who gets the cut of the pie, like who gets the cut of the pie, and also how the people on and specifically how the people on the come up are treated, like how people in industries overwork, people just trying to chase their dream, and things like that. But that's a discussion we could have forever and probably not really make a whole lot of sense most of the time. So let's just end it there and move on to our Hallyujuku Talk segment. We're actually going to be talking about BtoB.
BtoB.
So join us over there.
Welcome to Hallyujuku Talk segment. This week we're going to be talking about another random album for Petey this week. It's a group called BtoB with their
BtoB.
album Beep Beep.
Mm-hmm. 뛰뛰빵빵. Or Beep Beep. BtoB, a group from Cube Entertainment, label mates of let's Gina. 4 Minute, now with I think with the restructuring and the forming, so it has all the A Cube as well. So they're label mates with Rain, A Pink, and a series of other artists. BtoB, otherwise known as Born to Beat, with their mini album. And I had to say, I'll give a little bit of a recap how it came about. This, so of course, what this came about because we like to we go to cons. The both of us, and usually there's a sizable K-pop booth at the various cons that we go to. However, as I do my best Stephen A. Smith there. However, I was at Dragon Con and there wasn't quite a K-pop booth, but there was a booth with some stuff and including K-pop. It's a very tiny booth. I should have taken a picture. It was kind of adorably tiny. But I did find a couple albums there. I found Sistar's second to last album, and I found BtoB's. And I thought, well, this is interesting. I know of this group, but I've never really listened to an album. How familiar are I don't know what we talked about. I think we talked about it a bit, but how familiar are you with BtoB, Kaz?
Not at all. I've heard of them. I've heard of them, but I've never looked into any of their stuff. So this was the first time I'm hearing them, and it was one of those situations where I was like, "Oh, this is why I've never heard of them," because I wasn't overall impressed by what I heard.
Yeah, I'm getting to our impressions. Like, it starts out okay. It starts out with the kind of their main promotional single, the title track "뛰뛰빵빵." Otherwise known as Beep Beep. It is their main track, and it starts out. The beat starts out promising, and then it just kind of goes into kind of a very comfortable place, and I think does generally well.
Yeah,
and I actually kind of dug the first track. What was your impression, kind of as it started, and as your thoughts going into through the first track?
So the start is okay. I think like you said, it's a pretty good lead-in track. Musically, it's okay. There's not a lot wrong with it, but I think it starts to fall off. And I think it even starts to fall off in that first track. Like, there's just disjointed boy pop music that doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, it's tough to really find a center place with this mini album, especially which is odd because it's only 4 tracks, but it kind of goes a bunch of different places musically that are tangential in some ways, but a little disjointed. Like, You go with the "뛰뛰빵빵," which is kind of a hip hop R&B, kind of a poppy song, and then the next track you got "Till the End," I believe, or something like that. I wish I had a better track listing, but it goes to their next track, which is good. I mean, but
Yeah.
not great.
It's a slow melody, R&B song.
Yeah, and kind of moves through that. Uh, moves through that. It's is this the end? And it's kind of a slow ballady song, and then you have Yobaseo after that. Otherwise known Hello. Uh,
Yep.
uh Yobaseo like that. Which is an okay song. Kind of has a cool sound to it, but doesn't really go a lot of places. And I think the same thing you can say for Hello Mellow. And kind of and then it kind of ends up with the schmaltzy a ballad that was made for their fandom, Never Ending Melody. Melody being the fan club name. So it's like, hey girls, this one's for you. This song's for you, and you, and you, and you. Like, BtoB! And I think solidifying why boy groups are more successful than girl groups. I don't know. Were there moments that you kind of what would you say are the highlights for this album? What would be the high points?
The Good is the first track. The second track, I somewhat enjoy. I didn't dislike it in any way. Hello Mellow is okay. But other than that, the melody in track 3 are just kind of blah.
Yeah, I think overall, I think it's a disappointing album. I think overall, but overall it's kind of disappointing. It doesn't really go a lot of places where you can kind of really put a pin on. Say this is the definitive BtoB sound. And kind of it doesn't find that really, at least for me. So without that, there's nothing for you to kind of build around mentally. With the album, and it doesn't find its center. I think is the main thing about this album. I think I don't know. Yeah, it just can't find its center. Where do you think this could have been different? Where do you think this could have been improved?
I think the factor of only having one high energy song and then the others all slow makes it disjointed. So I think a better mix would have been good. And I don't know, it could have just been vocal arrangement. If you change that up a little bit, maybe you get something different out of it. It's really hard to say, because it's has a it's almost there kind of pace, and it's like maybe if you just worked on it a little bit more, maybe if you just tweak this, or that, because they seem to be able, like in this video that you're showing, they perform really well, they show really well. It's just, what is that thing musically that's missing? And it's hard to pinpoint that, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is that's missing in this. Yeah. But there's something missing.
Yeah. It's hard to really kind of put a hammer on it, but yeah, it's something there that just isn't there. There's something that isn't there, and we would hopefully that they kind of find it. They are coming back soon with a new with a comeback. Even though they'd already released something this year. I love the comeback with Move, and it's going to be interesting to see how that builds upon and if that improves things. They that is mainly for our enjoyment, which might not be important in the grand scheme of things. So we'll have to see. But I mean, hopefully they do put together something good for Move. There's definitely not a bad album. This one,
Yeah.
it's definitely not a bad release. It just kind of it just doesn't quite find its center. So we'll have to see how they progress things for this upcoming single. They've already got the kind of teaser images. They got them teaser images. We're gonna have to see waiting to get that 30-second cut. As we like to say, that 30-second cut. See how that turns out. And then we're gonna have to find out once it's actually out.
It's not a real comeback until there's a 30-second trailer, and unless you're YG, then it just is something that is to tease you, and then doesn't actually ever come out.
Yeah, exactly. God damn it, YG. But enough about YG. I think overall our thoughts on BtoB were. I think that pretty much sums it up. That's it. That's it for another fine episode of Hallyujuku. A nice, quick little Hallyujuku talk segment, but there's not much. I think it's for the better.
Yeah.
We got in and out, and we're good. Kaz, what do you got going on in your neck of the woods?
Like I said, working on new podcast, some YouTube video gaming junk that's gonna be out later. Once I get a video card that can actually handle the recording of the games that I put it through, and I get my not Black Magic. I'm gonna order a different capture device, but once I get my capture device, so there'll be some Destiny and some other stuff and some other junk. It'll all be there for you to be like, ugh, why is he playing that? And to judge.
Yeah. All for the internet to judge you. And of course, you can follow me at Petey Rave. You got the same old thing going on. The show is at Hallyujuku, Hallyujuku.com, kpoppodcast.com. Really easy to, URL to share with your friends. Is easier to say than Hallyujuku.com. Follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, all over the place. Just subscribe to us, share, like us. But yeah, just let us know how we're doing. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
All right. Annyeong.
Annyeong.
Annyeong.